Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I'm doing something different. Today I'm at the Concord office of Cine24 Studios. I'm with my wife Anna. She'll be helping us today with the video. Today I'm going to walk you guys through how to set up a 3-point lighting system. Now, lighting is the most important thing in filmmaking or video production. So the 3-point lighting system is almost always used in any type of production, and you can build on top of it to create more elaborate and more complex lighting systems. To make this challenge a little more interesting, I'm going to give Anna a little backstory. She is a hacker hacking away in a very high pressure, anxious situation. So my lighting will have to reflect that. I'm going to be setting this specifically for someone sitting in front of a computer typing away. So in a typical 3-point lighting system, you have 3 lights. You have the key light, you have the fill light, and you have the backlight, which is also called the rim light or hair light. So in this particular scene, because we're setting it up as a hacker in front of a computer, the key light is going to be not as bright as you think. But typically if you're shooting an outdoor scenes where it's light outside, your key light will be the sunlight. So the brightest light in your scene will be typically the key light. And depending on what kind of scene you're in and what kind of light sources is influencing that scene, your key light will be the sunlight or some other light that is just bright within the scene that you're trying to replicate with your key light. So in this scene, because it's a contained environment in my office here, first light that I'm going to be setting up is going to be this 300-watt light with a lantern diffuser on top of it. So you can see I've already set up the lantern diffuser. What the lantern diffuser does is that evenly spreads out the light to give some softer highlights and softer shadows, and it literally fills up the whole room. So let's just jump in and turn this guy on. I have the brightness at 10% and I have the white balance at 5600 Kelvin. I want to add in some color to the scene, so that's why my base color is going to be daylight. My camera is also balanced to daylight. So the first thing I'm going to do is move this key light so I can place it within the scene. So I'm going to turn off all the other lights in the scene and I'm going to start moving my key light. There we go. So one of the things you are thinking about while you're setting up that key light is you're trying to find the best shadows. So ultimately the shadows are going to be filled in with other lights. So the key light, while you're placing that key light, especially in a contained scene like an indoor office scene, you want to move it around. If it's an outdoor scene, it's going to be dictated by the sun. So wherever the sun is, that's going to be your primary key light, and you're moving everything around. You're using some black cloth to cut down the sunlight that's hitting your subject. But in this scene, in an interior scene, you want to move that, take advantage of that key light, move it around so that you get the best possible shadow shape you want. So right now, right there, the shadow on Anna's face is looking good. So the next light that I'm going to set up is going to be my backlight. I'm doing something different here. It's the same 300-watt light, but instead of a lantern filter, I actually have a honeycomb filter on here, and on top of that honeycomb filter, I'm setting up a blue gel. So let me set this guy up. So what that honeycomb filter does, it directionalizes the light. So you get crisper highlights and harsher shadows, very defined shadows. And you want that when you're trying to give your subject an evenly lit backlight. Okay, so I have it set at 53%. I'm actually gonna bring that down to 46. I'm also at 5600 Kelvin. I already have a gel on there, so the color is going to be blue. And I'm gonna bring this light as high as I can. I'm gonna turn off the office lights. Actually, Gonna use those barn doors to control some of that light that's hitting Anna. I'm also gonna use this light to my advantage, and I'm gonna light some of that background also to get some blues in there. There we go. There we have our key light and our backlight setup. So right now I have it camera right. You can set it on camera left too. It really depends on the space you're working with and what kind of light you're trying to emulate. Right now, looking at the previews here from my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, it is looking great. I'm getting that high contrast, low light scene. And now the last light that I need to set up is my fill light. Typically, the fill light, you want to keep it in a spot where there are a lot of shadows. Typically, these shadows are left behind by your key light and your rim light. So right here, a lot of the shadows are coming in on her right-hand side. So ideally, you want to keep that fill light on the right side, just bringing in a little bit of light. But our scene is very specific. Our scene dictates that our actor is sitting in front of a computer. So here, the fill light is dictated by something that's physically in the scene. The computer monitor is going to be your fill light. So we're gonna place this LED panel light in front of Anna, and we're gonna try and make it look like a computer monitor light that's just filling up her face. So I'm setting up the fill light pretty close to the camera. As you can see the barn door in the camera. Okay, so I'm gonna turn off my light. I'm gonna adjust the brightness of my fill light so it feels like a computer monitor. Okay, now I've positioned all three of my lights. Now it's time to move them around a little bit more so you get the best possible lighting you can. So a few things that I'm noticing off the bat is I'm getting two reflections on Anna's eyes, and I want to avoid that. I'm actually going to go and try and move that fill light a little higher. And then I'm also going to move my key light a little higher. And Anna, can you look straight into the camera? And I'm moving that key light a little forward so it gets to be a little more overhead on her. And that solved it. So the next thing I'm gonna do is try and switch up my key light. I'm actually gonna change the Kelvin temperature here. I'm gonna bring it down to 4600. I'm gonna move it back up again. I'm adjusting my fill light to making it 5600. Making sure she's in focus. Okay, I think I have my key light and my fill light fine-tuned, and I'm gonna fine-tune my rim light. I'm gonna bring that intensity down. Right now it's at 30%, so I'm gonna keep it at 30%. Gonna move my key light a little bit. Okay, so now I've adjusted my key light, I've adjusted my fill light, and I've adjusted the backlight. So fine-tuning these swings a little bit more to get a more precise lighting. And there we go. That's how you fine-tune your three-point lighting system. Now you have all three lights working together to light my subject, getting some nice highlights, some nice shadows, making the scene a little more interesting. Now, how do we go further? What can we do to improve this scene? We're gonna do some quick and easy lighting tricks here to enhance the scene. So the first thing we're gonna address is practical lights. Practical lights are a great way to enhance your scene by using lights that are in the scene to give them more interest. So right now I have a little cactus LED light in the background, so that instantly adds some interest to the scene, a very different color. So that's one method. And the second one we're gonna do is emulate another practical light in the scene. So just how we did the monitor is not bright enough to project light onto Anna, but to emulate that monitor light, we put in another light. So we're gonna do the same thing, but instead of emulating the monitor light, in this scene, I'm assuming that the hacker has a souped up computer that's just glowing bright red. I have a Alienware workstation that has red light. I can turn it on, but it's not gonna be strong enough to cast light on her face. So the best thing I can do here is set up another light. So I'm gonna use my nanolight here, turn it on. And I have it to red. Let's make it a little more darker red if possible. Ooh, I like this yellow actually. So let's make this yellow instead of red. Got that nice yellow that I really like. So we're gonna stick with that yellow. We're gonna assume that in a different shot, we're gonna see some yellow lighting coming off of that computer. There we go. What?
A very serious hacker.
Now we added 2 practical lights into the scene to enhance the scene. Now, the second light that I place is not quite where that light from your computer tower would be, but that doesn't matter. The whole point is to enhance the scene by adding in some lights that'll make your subject pop out more. So that's why I'm putting it, directly onto camera left, so that you get that harsh little detail on the side rather than flooding more light in to fill in the background. This way I use that light to my advantage. Now, ideally, I would like to have a negative cloth right on top of here so I can control some of that harsh key light that's falling on Anna. And I can also control some of that light from the key light falling onto the background wall. Because it's such a small space, it's hard to not light the background while you're lighting the subject. But for this example, for this tutorial, I'm gonna stop right here. Thank you to Anna for being so patient and being our model today. And thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Make sure to like, subscribe. Until next time.